Rahim. What's going on, people? Welcome back to the channel. This is Stockholm Gunner back with another stream, people. It's not a watch along stream like I usually do. This is the stream for match preview, Arsenal versus Nottingham Forest. You see, I had a bit of a time on my hand today, and usually I do my match previews on a short version, right? The 10 minutes, the 8 minutes, 10 minutes videos, right? Unfortunately, fortunately, I should say, not unfortunately, fortunately, I had a bit of a time on my hand, and I thought to myself, why not do the match preview on a stream version, people? That sounds good to me. So I said, let's schedule for it. 4:30, we're here. We are doing the match preview for Saturday's game, Arsenal versus Nottingham Forest, people. Nottingham Forest, my people, are a team that is struggling currently. They really are struggling. Look, Nottingham Forest used to be a very good team when they had the manager Santos in charge of them, right? I remember when the way they used to play, the way they used to attack, the way they were organized. I thought they were pretty good team under Santos, but Santos left them, right? What's his name? And the former Tottenham manager Big Angie took over. He didn't last long, and then Sean Dyche came in, and he is the current manager for Nottingham Forest. So therefore, we are playing against Sean Dyche's team on Saturday, people. It's gonna be a low block, as you can imagine already. It's gonna be a bit of a fight. It's gonna be a long balls, you know, long throw-ins, all that kind of stuff that Sean Dyche is known for, people. Look, the reason why I say that Nottingham Forest is not doing well currently is because they last 6 games, they lost 5 times, people. They lost 5 times out of that 6 games. And they were playing in the FA Cup, their recent game, right? FA Cup it was, and they were playing against a team, a low tier, a very low ranked team called the Wrexham, and they drew that one 3-3. I mean, they performed pretty poorly at the first half. Wrexham scored 2 goals against them in the first half, but however, they managed to get back into the game, right, and getting the goals and then drawing that game 3-3. So when you draw and you play the 90 minutes and you get the extra time, and then it goes out for a penalty shootout. That's what happens in the FA Cup, and they lost the penalty shootout 4-3 against Wrexham, people, and they are currently placed in the 17th place in the Premier League table. In the Premier League table, they are sitting at 17th place, and they only got 7 points clear from the relegation zone, people. From the relegation zone, right? So they are struggling a bit, but they do have a couple of points away from the relegation zone. So I don't think they're going to be relegated, but they are struggling a bit. They really are struggling a bit. They have a player of ours who is on a loan with Nottingham Forest currently. It is Zinchenko, people. He is at Forest. He is at Nottingham Forest, and they're not giving him any time on playing time, I should say. They are not giving him any playing time at all. And also, they are they actually said they want to send him back because they don't find him very, very good at all. And they want to send him back to his former club, which is us, the Arsenal, right? We should have said to them when they were signing this player on a loan, look, whenever you guys are playing us, we want you guys to play Zinchenko. Since he hasn't played that much, he's not going to be that good at all. So that would have given us a bit of an edge over them. But we don't need that bit of an edge over them because we are the superior team currently. And I think we're going to beat them quite easily and comprehensively, right? Look, the reason what, you see, this is the thing. Edu went over to Nottingham Forest as their they recruited Edu, and as soon as he went over there, things did not go well between him and Santos, the manager, right? And then Santos was doing pretty well for Nottingham Forest. He was pretty good. Not so much currently because he's in West Ham and he's losing games after games, people. But at Nottingham Forest, I think he was very good and they were performing pretty well and they were getting big results sometimes. Seriously, big result. So it's a trade-off, isn't it? When you had such a good manager, Santos, and now that you have Sean Dyche, right? And in between, they also had, what's his name? Big Angie. And Big Angie seemed to be clueless in that position, right? He couldn't do anything for Nottingham Forest. But, however, they do have Sean Dyche currently. What about us? A matter of fact, I'm going to show you guys the games they have played, who they have played against, and the results they have got. Let me show you that, people. Let me show you that. These are the games they have played. This is the 5 games they have played. Against Wrexham, they drew that one 3-3, but they lost on the penalty shootout, right? And then they played against West Ham. They managed to beat West Ham, right? They managed to beat West Ham 2-1, people. And then they played against Aston Villa. Aston Villa beat them 3-1. And then they played against Everton. And I think personally, against Everton, they should have taken some sort of a point. At least a point they should have taken. But they lost that one 2-0. And then the last but not least, it was against Man City, where they played pretty all right, but they lost that one 2-1, people. They lost that one 2-1. And if you look onto the right side of me, right, or I should say to the left side of me on the screen, it is our team, Arsenal. I mean, we played against Chelsea in the League Cup, the Carabao Cup semi-finals, people, where we managed to beat them 3-2 in the Stamford Bridge. Good game, seriously good game. And then it was in the FA Cup, we played against Portsmouth and we managed to beat them 4-1, people. And then against Liverpool, we should have won that one, but we drew that one 0-0, goalless game it was. And then it was the AFC Portsmouth and we managed to beat them 2-3, right? And then it was Aston Villa, whom we managed to beat. People, 4-1. Aston Villa. I mean, I enjoyed that game pretty well. I really did enjoy that game pretty well, right? Look, we're doing good for ourselves. I mean, we have out of the 9 games that we played in all competition, we managed to win 9 times and we drew once. Seriously. That is how well we are doing currently. And away from home, we have 5 winning streaks away from home, basically. And also, we scored 3 goals in 4 of those victories on the road, people. That is how well we are doing, people. That is how well we are doing. Arteta is doing the job currently. He needs to get applauded for the job that he's currently doing. I think it's a good thing that he's rotating when he needs to rotate the team, and also he needs to make sure that the players that doesn't get time on the field needs to get time on the field as well. That is what I'm saying to you guys, right? For you guys who are in the chat, thank you very much for tuning in. Make sure that you engage with me on the chat, engage with the stream as well, and welcome to the stream, my people. Welcome to the stream. Now, we played against Chelsea. I'm going to talk about that game. And this is the team that played against Chelsea, people. This is the team that played against Chelsea. Before we go and show you the starting 11, I think we're going to have against Nottingham Forest. This is the team that played against Chelsea. And I think that game was pretty good game. And we dominated that game. We really did dominate over Chelsea, right? The players that played in that game did what they needed to do, right? And I was also pleasantly surprised that Mikel Arteta went pretty strong, you know. It was the semi-final, I should say, in the League Cup against Chelsea. So we were thinking something along the line, beat them hard in their home ground and then just basically hold them off in the second leg in our home ground. That's what I was thinking. And Arteta did the right thing, picking this strong team. I mean, we had Kepa in goal. I think he was the only he was the only weak link in this team, right? Kepa in goal, and then you have Ben White as the right back, William Saliba, Gabriel as the central defenders, and then you have Timber as the left back. Boy, that was the right choice to play Timber as the left back. I mean, Estevan and Neto on the right side up against Timber was a crazy, crazy combination between them. And sometimes Timber was kind of struggling a bit, you know, he was kind of struggling a bit. So therefore, if Lewis Skelly would have played in this game, I think he would have been picked apart. That's what I think. Lewis Skelly is a good player. I really like Lewis Skelly, but it was the right thing to play Timber as a left back. And I thought they performed pretty good. Ben White was on the sauce on that day. Seriously, those overlaps that he was doing and that cross that he did for Victor Gyökeres, even Sanchez, the Chelsea goalkeeper, couldn't hold on to the ball because he was hit so hard and low, and the ball slipped through his hand, and Victor Gyökeres got his goal. And I was waiting for that goal. I was like, yeah, finally, Gyökeres, get a goal, get in there. That's what we're supposed to do, right? I'm gonna come to your I'm gonna come to the chat in a bit, but I'm gonna be talking about this for a little bit more. And then in that midfield, we had Zubimendi, Declan Rice, and Martin Odegaard, people. And boy, did they perform. The only person that was below bar was Martin Odegaard, people. But Zubimendi and Declan Rice were the generals in that midfield, and they were bossing it. Zubimendi was my man of the match. I personally think he was my man of the match because what he was doing from the deep line playing, right, and run up front to cross those balls to Victor Gyökeres and Saka and Trossard was amazing. The way he was running, and I was saying for a while that maybe Zubimendi does not have the legs, right, to play as a number 8, right. But he showed us on that game against Chelsea that he can do a job as an 8. He really can do a job as an 8. Declan Rice, I would have kept him as the number 6 and pushed up Zubimendi further up as the number 8. That's what I would have done, people, right? And then you have the front 3, people. The front 3, Bukayo Saka, Trossard, and Victor Gyökeres. Now, Bukayo Saka, Cucurella was all over him. Cucurella was all over this guy, and it was unbelievably frustrating because he was chopping him down all the time. Every time Bukayo Saka got the ball, he was on his heels and he was chopping him down, right? Excuse me. He was chopping him down. I didn't like it, and I think the referee should have given him a yellow card. Cucurella did get a yellow card at the end, but he should have done something about it. He should have been a little bit more firm against Cucurella because that's what they were doing towards Bukayo Saka. Every time he gets the ball, they were teaming up on him. They were bringing him down, and they were messing about with the way he was playing. But anyway, he performed well. He performed well, and he did get a couple of crosses into the box. And then you have Trossard. Trossard was slightly off the game in that game. He wasn't very effective in this game. But however, what Trossard does give you is that ability to be another playmaker from the left side. That's what Trossard does for you, people. That is what Trossard does for you. And I think he was good overall. Good overall. And Victor Gyökeres, my guy, he played proper game in this game. The way he was holding up the ball, the way he was bringing players into the game was absolutely beautiful. I mean, you guys seen that ball that he threaded to Zubimendi, the second goal that Zubimendi, not the third goal it was. Zubimendi scored the third goal, and the guy who was holding up the ball, that was Victor Gyökeres. I mean, he brought the ball down, turned around, hold off the defender, right? And then flicked it ball to Zubimendi. Zubimendi with his left foot drops the shoulder, and the defender said, oh, he's going to shoot. He didn't shoot, went further into the box and took the shot. Bang. In it goes. That was the third goal. And at that time, it was 3-1 then. It was 3-1. And I said, Done. Khalas is done and dusted, people. It is done and dusted. Chelsea's not gonna come back from this one, right? So therefore, let's go to the Emirates Stadium and do the same type of a job against them, people. That is what I was thinking on my in my head. Now, let's have a look on the chat, people. Let's have a look on the chat. Let me see. Trust the progress. What's up? Big up to Trust the Process. Welcome to the stream, my guy. How you been? I'm been all right, my guy. I have been all right. How you guys doing? How you been? Right? Shining, star shining. What's happening with you guys? What's happening with you, my guy? You all right? You doing well? I hope so. Big up to you. Big up to you. Arsenal will destroy the next team, he says. Arsenal will definitely destroy the next team. And it is Nottingham Forest that is the next team, people. It is Nottingham Forest. And it is a poor Nottingham Forest, I have to say, as I was talking earlier in the stream about them. I think they are in a very poor form currently. I mean, the last 6 games they played, 5 of those games they have lost, right? They're sitting in the 17th place on that table. They're only 7 points clear from the relegation zone. And Sean Dyche is having a bit of a job on his hand to do, people. Trust the Process says, I predict we will win around 2-0. Mark, they have a bad form. However, it is in City ground. Don't expect 3-0 or 4-0. That score will only happen at the Emirates Stadium. I believe we can still beat them by 3-0, 4-0, because I consider Nottingham Forest to be poor currently. Currently, people, I expect them to be poor. I mean, one thing they have going for themselves are the fact that they have Sean Dyche, and Sean Dyche is also a very tricky manager who likes to play with the low blocks, and he was going to deploy the long throws and those long balls to his front line and get into the game through that way, my people. That is what I think Sean Dyche will do. True Pro, he says, star shining. I hope you have fixed your internet. Star shining. Finally, you got your internet fixed, right? I hope so. And he says, is bro live? Even live, or this pre-recorded? I am live, my guy. I am live. It is a live. It is live. Usually I do my pre-recorded for the match previews. Since I had a bit of a time on my hand today, I said, yes, I'm going to do this stream. I'm going to do the stream for the match preview and see how that will be faring over the internet, basically, over the YouTube, I should say. Now, we're going to have a look on the, what's the name of it? The press conference, what Arteta has said, because we need to know before we do the my predicted starting 11, we need to know who is available. Who is available, people? That's what we need to know. So what we do is we go to the press conference and listen to what Arteta has said. A matter of fact, read about what Arteta has said. This is the Arteta press conference, and this is what he said, basically. And these are the questions and answers that they have asked him, and he answered to it. This is the first question on if there are any fresh injuries. Is there any fresh injuries? He said no, there is no fresh injuries. That is very good. That is very good. We do not have any injuries concerns that are new in the team. And then they asked him if there are any chance for the players who have been missing out. The players that has been out on injury, if there are any chance that they will be involved in this game. It may be so. It may be. So I need to meet with the medical staff, he says. We have a training session now to see if somebody's available for the weekend. So He doesn't really know. He doesn't really know. And then said they asked him on who they may be. I cannot tell you, he said. I cannot tell you. And then they asked him how Gyökeres has been behind the scenes. And he said, I have seen him. Obviously, he's a very demanding person. He knows the level that we need. Basically, he wants to fulfill everything that we expect of him. He has been trying. He has been very consistent. And I thought against Chelsea, he had a great game and scored a goal, and that helped us win the game. That is on Victor Gyökeres. On Gyökeres having to get used to the scrutiny, right? I mean, people are on Victor Gyökeres' case. They're saying he is not the best striker in the world. He is not the type of striker that Arsenal should have in their team. But the guy is working hard, people. The guy is working hard, and he's providing those holding up play for us up front. I mean, he's not eloquent on the ball. He really isn't eloquent on the ball. His touches are not great. But what he's doing for the team is that we are playing a lot better with him in the team, people. With him in the team, right? So therefore, I like Victor Gyökeres when he is our striker up front. That is what I say on that one. He said for the scrutiny part, for the rest of his career, I think when you know what he has done in the last few years, you just set a standard and everybody expects you to maintain it. He did set a very high standard by scoring all those goals in the Sporting Lisbon, right? And a lot of people saying, no, that was just simply because that league itself is poorer league compared to the Premier League. It is true. It is true. The Premier League is a lot more difficult than the Portuguese league. No doubt about it. But to score that many goals, I think that shows the hard work of the guy. That shows how brilliant he is as a player, right? As a goal getter, as a goal scorer. I think Victor Gyökeres, what he did is beautiful for Sporting Lisbon. And I think, no doubt in my mind that he's going to start scoring goals. And I'm actually so proud and so happy for the guy that he actually scored against Chelsea, right? And he had another opportunity when Zupimendi went in running just outside the box, crossed the ball into Victor Gyökeres. Gyökeres turned around. Instead of going to his right foot, he went to his left side, took the shot with his left side, dragged it wide. But that was an opportunity for him to hit the target. He didn't do that, but that showed you the type of striker that he is. He wants to score goals for you. He wants to score goals for you, right? That is what Victor Gyökeres are trying every time he plays for you. Anyway, that is the scrutiny on Victor Gyökeres. And then they go and say, on if the scrutiny and criticism has been fair. I don't know. It is a part of the expectations, but it is not only for Victor Gyökeres. It is for every number 9 in the league, or in every top club. In every position that you play, you may see it. We expect to be really good and consistent and to win constantly. That is what we have to try to do. That's what he said. On playing 4 games in a row away from home and planning ahead for player availability. In certain things, yes, he says, especially looking at the opponent and the things that we are going to be able to train that we can replicate in those games. Sometimes, ideally, we have to plan, okay, for this game, we think this player could be better and the load, and some other times it's just impossible, he says, right? Basically, he's taking games as they come along, right? And sometimes he plans towards it because some teams are a little bit easier to figure out than other teams. That's what he's basically saying. So that's not bad. That's a good way of looking at things. I mean, the bigger teams, we need to beat them. I mean, we haven't been able to beat Man City. We haven't been able to beat Liverpool, right? The one time we played against them early in the season, we lost that one. I mean, it was one goal in between us, right? That beautiful free kick that Liverpool managed to score the game with. Szoboszlai's free kick, 1-0, right? Either team could have won that one. Liverpool managed to win that game on that day. And then the second leg, when we played in our home ground, we drew against them 0-0. I think we were extremely poor in that game. We were very poor in that game, people. Very poor, very poor. So the big teams we have to do a lot better with. The big teams we have to do a lot better. And then he said, they've asked him if he tells the players who he needs them more in certain games, like Alex Ferguson used to do. I do not know the whole context, he said, but the first thing is that as a team, we prepare for the game, right? We win it, and when you have rested players and manage the load, it is beautiful because you won. And when the result is different, it is a bad decision. You shouldn't have done that. It is too many changes, so it is related to how we can perform at the highest level. Win while those things are happening. The ideal scenario, it is quite tricky, he says. I mean, look, when you are winning, is pretty good. When you are winning, it is pretty good. People are going to be on you and say, well, thank you very much for getting that win for us. It's absolutely beautiful what you guys did, and so on. When you are losing, people are going to criticize you, and they're going to be saying, you're not good enough. What are you doing? You shouldn't have played this player. You should have played this player. I mean, this guy is getting a lot of money to be the manager, and he knows what he's doing. He knows what he's doing. And this season, he's doing things a lot more fluidly. He's doing a lot more efficiently, and I think he's doing a good job so far. But we will judge him by the end of the season, see what kind of trophies that he brings in. And if he does bring in good trophies, then he's going to be applauded for it. And if he doesn't do the job and gets the big trophies, then he will be criticized for it. That is my point of view on that one. On what challenges Forest posed under Sean Dyche. He's a top manager, he said. Really good what he does. You can say straight away from the fingerprint on the team, the way they play, the result they get against some big teams as well, how difficult they constantly make it for you. He's so experienced in the league, so it's going to be a tough match. I think it's going to be an easy match. But Arteta is just basically giving Sean Dyche a bit of a prop and saying like he's a good manager. That's what he's doing basically. The next question on if he will have an eye on Man City game tomorrow. They are playing earlier than us. They are playing against Manchester United, people. That is the Manchester derby, people. And I think that's going to be a very interesting game to watch. Manchester United are currently without a manager because they have sacked their manager, isn't it? Emery. And they got interior managers currently. And I think they're going to struggle against Man City. But I think every time Manchester United play against Manchester City, they want to get a bit of a result against them. So it should be a tasty game. I'm going to be watching that one before our game comes up, and I'm going to be doing the watch along stream for our game on Saturday against Nottingham Forest, people. It should be a cracking day that day itself. A lot of football to watch on that day. On we go to the next one. On if he senses belief amongst the squad that we can achieve something special this time around. I think we are building very good momentum, he says. Belief comes from performances and the level of consistency that we have shown throughout our 32 games already this season. What we did the other day at Stamford Bridge, it should help us to be very convinced that we have the ability to do that. But the reality is that you have to show it in every game. There's no much to happen, but we are glad that we are still alive in all 4 competitions. Look, The boys are believing. The boys are starting to believe that they can do something special this season. And the fans are also starting to believe that we can do something special. Look, we are in January. We are top of the league with 6 points away, 6 points clear from Man City and Aston Villa, right? We are on top of the Champions League, people. We are on top of the Champions League. And we also in the FA Cup. And we are in the semi-finals in the League Cup. Come on, people. You cannot say that our season's not going well. It is going well. We are enjoying our season so far. We may be doing things this season. We may be achieving things this season, people. Right? So, the boys are starting to believe. The boys are starting to believe, people. The boys are starting to believe. Zubimendi, offensive contributions. I think he's a brilliant player. I spoke of that. I think he's better off as an 8 rather than as a 6 because he's a better playmaker than Declan Rice, right? He has an eye for pass, I think, and I think he should be playing further up the field, up together with Martin Odegaard. That's what I think personally. I want to see that from Zubimendi. I want to see Arteta utilizing him further up the field. And every time he does that, every time he gets involved up front with the boys up front, he is creating amazing stuff for us. That is Zubimendi. He's better off offensively, right? On continuing to be good at set pieces. Hey, I think practice, it is not a secret. I think mastering what you can do, what you do, and the same way in many other aspects of the game, you can clearly see the tendency in the league, the amount of games and goals that are decided in the face of play. It is not only us, it is more among any other teams that at the time in the history of this league. So constantly adopting and evolving. Look, the set pieces is a weapon for us. It is a weapon for us, and we should take advantage of it every time we do get the opportunity to take the advantage, right? That is what I think personally. And whenever we get a set piece, we should punish teams for it because they gave us a sloppy set piece, right? It's not our fault. It is their fault. We should take advantage of it. Simple as that. On we go, right? Set piece, ole ole. I don't mind it. I do not mind that at all. And then they said the question is on how hard it is to play at the City ground. Winning away from home in the Premier League is extremely tough, he says. They are a team that have been beaten over the 5 years, and we have done a lot of things right to beat really good teams. With Sean, they are different, very, very efficient in the way they do, and the clear identity and what makes them very dangerous. Look, Nottingham Forest is not having a great season currently. I don't think they are a great team currently. I think they were a better team under Santos. I really think they were a better team under Santos. Seriously better team under Santos, right? So therefore, I think we're gonna go over there and slap them up. That's what I think. The next question: on if we have to get used to the pressure of playing before and after Man City rather than at the same time. Every season is normally the same. We don't normally play at the same time, only probably in the Champions League. That happens more often, but that's why more than ever. So just focus on what we have to do and test the task ahead, and that's it. Look, sometimes you do get the advantage of seeing your rivals playing before you and see what sort of result they get. And if they do get a positive result, that means literally you cannot get a bad result, and you need to go and get the positive result, the 3 points preferably, right? So it gives you a bit of advantage on when you are playing, if you are playing before them or if you are playing after them. So we will see that. But in the Champions League, that's different because everybody plays at the same time. That's the way the Champions League is set up. So it's different. So I can understand what he's saying, and I think it makes sense as well. It does make sense as well. On the difficulty of playing a team fighting to stay in the league. I don't know, he says it depends on the day, what the game presents, but obviously when you are in the situation, you certainly want to get out of that, and you may have extra edge about you. I think Nottingham Forest is not in a danger of getting relegated. They are sitting in the 17th place currently, right? They are 7 points clear from the relegation zone. That's where they are, right? So I don't think they're going to be relegated. So this doesn't really concern them. This doesn't really concern them. On the next question, on how we have managed not to concede more than 2 goals in the Premier League game since December 2023. Is that what it is? Have we not conceded more than 2 goals? I mean, that is pretty impressive if we haven't. It must have been all 1-0 games. That, I'm not too sure. Chat, correct me on that one. Correct the manager on that one. Have nobody scored more than 2 goals, more than 1 goal against us? I think Chelsea managed to score against us 2 in the League Cup, or maybe they're talking about the Premier League. Maybe they're talking about the Premier League. I think Bournemouth scored against us 2. We won that one for, what was it? 3-2. Bournemouth managed to score against us 2, if I remember correctly. But correct me, chat, if you guys are there, correct me. Anyway, next question. On the importance of a good social skills among the team, which Thomas Tuchel has been discussing. Look, it's important to know how to talk. We all know that. We're going to jump over that one. Next question. On if players could get in a team with a good social skills. If you're good at talking, you can get into a lot of places. You can get into a lot of places if you're a really good talker, right? That's just the sad reality of things. But in football, you need to have more than just social skills. You have to be good at footballing. You have to have good skills on football. Simple as that, man. What is they talking about? That was just a bit of a humor, I think, from the what's the name? From the journalist. From the journalist. That's what I was trying to say. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and let's continue with the rest of the press conference. Now, on what he likes about playing 2 nines together. This is something that we haven't seen yet. We haven't seen Arteta play 2 nines together up front together. I would love for him to do that. I would love for us to play 2 strikers up front together. Right? Gyökeres and Jesus together, or Gyökeres and Kai Havertz together up front. I think that would have made us a lot more dangerous. That's what I think personally. That is what I think, people. Whether he will do or not, we will see. What did he say? The Chelsea game, in my opinion, was a demanding as well, because the space were opening up and we needed from the position that somebody could have arrived in the box with the position they have. If they were to start even more aggressive as well, somebody that in direct play as well could be very, very efficient. We have combinations of players that can alternate positions as well. The chemistry between them, and another weapon that we have there. I mean, he was waffling there, seriously waffling. I mean, that didn't make any sense. What the hell did he just say? What is he talking about? They asked you, can you play 2 strikers together? Look, it's important to have chemistry between the strikers. Yes, I understand that. It's important to have a chemistry between the players as well, people, right? All over the field. It's simple as that. But we will see one day. Will we see from you, Mikel Arteta, 2 strikers on the field? We want to see that. As a fans, we want to see 2 strikers on the field. Gyökeres and Jesus, Gyökeres or Kai Havertz and Jesus. We want to see that. If you're not going to play none of that, even put Marino in the mix, Gyökeres and Marino up front. Look, I would say to you, Victor, to Mikel Arteta, because of our defense are so strong, right? They are so disciplined. I don't mind us playing with 3 defenders at the back, right? 5 midfielders and 2 strikers up front. That's what I would have done. Something different. It is a different formation. I would say try something like that. And if you do that, I think we will be a lot more dangerous because we create chances up front for the boys, right? When you have 2 attackers up front, one goes in front, one goes behind, right? And I think we could score a lot more goals. That's what I think, people. That is what I think. I hope we get to see 2 strikers up front. I really do hope so. The next question, on if he wants to keep trying those combinations going forward. Yes, especially certain games we are going to have to in the next weeks as well, to have those options, especially certain kinds of behavior that we expect from opponents, and can be something very interesting. Ethan Newry may play in the next few games. They have the opportunity, they have the option to play. We have to see for each game, he says, which one. We have certain limitations, especially in the league, the numbers that we can bring into the squad. Unfortunately, yeah, everybody has to make contention. Look, Ethan really needs playing time, right? He definitely needs playing time. And the only place I see him playing is the coming games are in the FA Cup against Wigan, right? In the League Cup, we are in the semi-finals. It is against Chelsea. He's not gonna play that one, and I don't think he's gonna play in the final. If we do get to the final, that's what I think. In the Premier League, we are basically going to extend our lead, right, from 6 points to 8 points or 9 points, whatever the case may be, right? So therefore, he's not going to be playing that. So the only place I can see Ethan playing currently is going to be the FA Cup against Wigan. That is Ethan then. On what surprised him most this season about us? I don't know, he says. Probably the capacity to adapt to a certain unexpected things that happen, especially players having to play in a position that they haven't played before, not in the same area especially, but how they adapt to it. I don't know if it is a surprise, but because we know how they would react, and actually to do it in a matter that they have done it with the attitude is something that I'm proud of. You know what? He's absolutely right. He's absolutely right on that one. Look, we brought in Christian Norgard. We played him as a central defender, and I was pleasantly surprised how well Christian Norgard played as a central defender, right? And then we had Declan Rice playing as a right back, and it was unbelievable what the guy did. Right back. He did the job perfectly. Mikel Marino played as a CDM against Portsmouth. Yes, he was the holding 6 in that game. We had Marino, Essier, and Ethan Newry. That was our midfield. So Marino playing as the 6, and he performed the way he performed. I know it was the weakest opponent, but he did the good job in there. So yes, it is pleasantly surprising to see players playing in different positions and they're doing a good job. That is absolutely correct. We crack on with the next one. On how many players have dealt with having more competition in their position. Look, we do know that we have a lot of players that are competing for their positions. Let's hear what he says. Very positive. He says it is something that we have talked about from the start of the season, and if we want to have a chance of doing that, we have to be there. I showed them the other clubs. They have nothing different to that. You look at Chelsea, 2, 3, 4, or you look at Man City, Liverpool, or any team that has been in the challenge over the years, that this is the nature what we want. We really have to accept this because there's no other way. They haven't done it with 14 or 15 or 16 players. None of the clubs in the history in the last 10, 5, 15 years. It is something that we want to be there, and we have to do it. It has to be natural. Look, players will be competing for positions. They are competing for positions. It's a good thing. It keeps the players on their toes, right? Especially when you're challenging for titles, and it is good. That means that you can push each other to the maximum level and see who comes on top of the best. Basically, the best players will play. The best players will crack on and try to win us the league, the FA Cup, the League Cup, and the Champions League. That's just the way it is, right? We need to have a big squad, and you need to compete for positions. That's what it is. Simple as that. He's correct on that. He's absolutely correct on that. On if he's happy with the offside rule and the VAR and how they interpret it. Happy depending on the situation, he says, right? The situation you have to face. Really, honestly talking, I know they are trying to do everything they can to simplify it, to bring much more clarity to as possible, right? And look, VAR can be tricky. Sometimes the decisions will go against you. Simple as that, right? And they're going to be bringing in some rules, new rules, I believe so. That is what the next question is about. On if he's in favor of the new rules suggested by Arsene Wenger. They are consistently trying to improve the game and to be as clear as possible and consistent as possible. They are looking at options, and they will decide, and we will adopt. I don't know what sort of suggestion that Arsene Wenger made. I'm not too sure what he made, but I will go and read about it, and we'll find out what he said, basically. The next question. If he supports that, I don't know. We need to see more details about it, he said. On Declan Rice discussions in the tunnel with Albert Stuffenbatty against Chelsea. It's all sorted, it's all good, he said. On if the show be high standards amongst the group. If he shows the high standards among the group. Yes, he says the good thing is that by the time I found out, the problem was solved. So that's very good. That is basically what he said. And that's the end of the match preview, the end of the press conference, I should say. So what we know so far is that we do not have any fresh injuries, right? The guys that are injured. It is Kepa, Calafiore, Mascara, and Max Dolman. Those are the players that's up, basically. That is the players that's out currently, people. So what are we going to do? What we're going to do is we're going to have a look. I'm going to give you my predicted starting 11, people. The team that's going to be playing against Nottingham Forest. I've been talking about the press conference, and now that we know that we don't have any fresh injuries, we can go and build up our starting 11. Let's do this. Arsenal. There we go. Arsenal's team. This is the team. Right? He didn't play. So Ben White comes in, and I'll shift it over there. Look, we are playing against Nottingham Forest. Nottingham Forest is the one that we are playing against, right? So I don't think we need to play both Timber and White at the same time. So this is what I would do. I will play Raya in goal, without a doubt. Raya in goal. Then I will play Ben White as a right back. A matter of fact, you know what? This is the thing though. Ben White has been playing a lot of games ever since he came back. Look, the last time he came back, he played 3 games and then he got broken down, right? He got injured and he's been out. So he is a bit fragile. So I will not risk him for this game. So I would say Ben White will not be playing in this game. I will play Timber as a right back, Saliba as a central defender, and Gabriel, and then Lewis Kelly as a left back. That is the defenders that I will play with. The goalkeeper Raya, Timber right back, Saliba and Gabriel central, and then Lewis Kelly left back. And then you have midfield. The midfield, I will continue to play in Zupermende, Declan Rice, and Martin Odegaard. Because I'm a little bit annoyed with Ebrishi Eze currently. I am a little bit annoyed with Ebrishi Eze currently because when he got the opportunity to show what he can do, he didn't do that against Portsmouth, right? So therefore, it's going to be very difficult for the guy to get game time. Even though he's a brilliant player. I like him. I think he's a quality player. He's just not doing the job currently. He really isn't doing the job currently. So I'm going to continue playing Martin Odegaard, Zupermende, and Declan Rice. And then up front, Bukayo Saka on the right, Gyökeres up front, and then I will bring in Martinelli this time around. Trossard, he was not that great in the game against Chelsea. He wasn't great. So where's Martinelli? There's Martinelli. That is the starting 11, people. That is the starting 11 I would play in this game against Nottingham Forest, people. It is on Saturday, 5:30 kickoff, UK time. It is 5:30 p.m., right? UK time, people. And it should be an entertaining game. It should be an entertaining game, people. Seriously entertaining game. I'm looking forward to it. I am really looking forward to it. Right? Now let's have a look at the chat. Let's talk about the chat and see who we can highlight a bit. Arsenal is deadly team because, guys, they have destroyed Real Madrid 3-0 and I'm starting to love Arsenal the most. That is from Star Shining, my guy. That is from Star Shining. I think you're right. You should be an Arsenal fan. It is good to be an Arsenal fan currently. It is absolutely beautiful to be an Arsenal fan. We are doing the bits currently. All right. And he also says, I'm here too, bro. I'm also subbed. He subscribed to the channel. Thank you very much for subscribing to the channel. Welcome to the community. For you guys who's new to the channel, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. Much appreciated and come part of the community. And let's have a look. Art merchant on the internet. What more? Arsenal greater than Real Madrid. Real Madrid is a big club, people. Real Madrid is a big club. I did not agree with you on that one, I have to say. But we need to win couple of Champions Leagues, right? Couple of Champions Leagues we need to win. And then we need to win a couple of more Premier League titles. And then maybe we can talk to Real Madrid in some sort of a way. Right? Big up to Football Locker Room Banter. Big up to you, my guy. That is the chat, people. Thank you very much for tuning in. We have come to the end of the stream. This was a little bit different from the usual match preview I usually do, right? I do basically the short version that I used to do, which is the 10 minutes match preview and my predicted starting 11, because I had a bit of a time on my head today. So I figured, you know what, let's go and do the match preview as a stream. That's what I did. I think it went great. Thank you very much for tuning in, right? Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and I wish you a continued good day.